Hi, Paraton Weather Meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday morning, June 15th. We had some strong to severe thunderstorms that pushed through the Mid-Atlantic region last night. Some areas reported hail. Centerville, Virginia, for example, near Baltimore. Some areas reported some torrential rainfall in and around Philadelphia. Certainly had some areas with significant rainfall in a short period of time, and there was some damaging wind gusts as well. All of those storms last night were associated with a southeastward moving cold frontal system that has ushered in a comfortable air mass for today. We actually have a reinforcing cool frontal system that passes through by tomorrow, and again we'll have a comfortable air mass to follow that one. So the next few days will be very pleasant for this time of the year. Places like DC, Philadelphia, New York City, all surrounding suburbs. Afternoon highs in the 70s and overnight lows in the 50s. Later tomorrow night into early Thursday morning, we could see low temperatures in some of the suburban areas to the north and west of the big cities, and not far from 50 degrees. Can't complain at all about that in the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S. Meanwhile, they can complain out in the western U.S. There's some extreme heat that has built up out in that part of the nation, all thanks to a very, very strong high pressure system in the upper part of the atmosphere. We'll also talk a little bit about the potential for a tropical storm over the upcoming weekend over the Gulf of Mexico. It looks like it'll head towards Louisiana, Texas area. If it does reach tropical storm status, it would be named Bill. After that, its leftover rainfall could push to the north and east. Whether it makes it all the way up to the Mid-Atlantic region or in about a week or so, a little bit too early to call, but that is on the table. Before we even talk about the weather, just wanted to point out that at 9:35 this morning, just a short period of time from now, they're expecting to be able to launch a rocket at NASA Wallops. They actually postponed it from earlier in the morning because of departing storms, but there can be a launch right in Wallops, and it could be visible in the Mid-Atlantic region. So if you're in DC, for example, look to the south and east. 9:35 a.m. Philly, New York City, look to the south. The rocket, I guess, goes off over the ocean. So again, that is something to look for at 9:35, unless things are postponed once again. NASA Wallops rocket launch. Look to the south or southeast if you're in the I-95 corridor region. Well, let's start off by looking at last night's 6Z operational run of the forecast maps at 500 millibars. We're looking at height anomalies, and this can tell a lot about what's going on not only in the northeastern part of the nation but across the entire nation. We have a very intense upper level ridge right centered over the Four Corners region, and this is really high pressure at all levels of the atmosphere, and this is contributing to some extreme heat. Places like Phoenix can reach 115, 120 degrees over the next few days, and that heat extends all the way up to the U.S.-Canadian border. Meanwhile, look at this. In the northeastern U.S., we have a vigorous upper-level trough that helped to produce those strong to severe thunderstorms last night, which, by the way, produced some decent-sized hail in many areas. Centerville, Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland reported a lot of hail, cloud-to-ground lightning throughout. This is pushing off to the south and east, and we are now in a comfortable air mass, and that will be reinforced by another frontal passage by tomorrow. So very nice temperatures for the middle of June in that part of the nation. Now let's move forward, see what happens here. It remains with this kind of a dichotomy across the nation over the next few days. This is all the way into Thursday. Still, high pressure centered right over the Four Corners region. Extreme heat out in that part of the nation. Very dry in Arizona, New Mexico, California. Meanwhile, a departing upper level low over the northeastern states, but watch what happens here as we go forward. Now, this is the Friday time frame here. We're seeing a reflection here of a tropical system. If this does indeed develop and reach tropical storm status, definitely on the table, by the way, it would become named Bill. Ultimately, it looks like it'll head towards Texas, Louisiana coastline, and then its leftover remains may push to the north and east. But watch this upper level feature right here. That drops to the south and east, and it's just a little too early to say if this gets kind of intertwined with this advancing upper level trough. In other words, if the leftover range can make it all the way up into the mid-Atlantic region, there's a possibility it could turn off into the southeastern states and get a push off the Carolina coastline. We're talking a week from now. Or it could slide a little farther to the north and east ahead of another advancing cold frontal system. Meanwhile, here we are over the weekend, still high pressure over the western U.S. Well, we have this comfortable air mass right now over the mid-Atlantic region. Again, the overnight lows in the big cities of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, likely in the 50s over the next few nights, Tuesday night, especially Wednesday night and Thursday night. That's not the end of the comfortable air masses for the northeastern quadrant. Let's push forward here and watch what happens down the road. Here we are, really pleasant temperatures below normal for this time of the year over the Great Lakes, the Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, New England. Meanwhile, hot over the Southwest and extending all the way up to the U.S.-Canadian border associated with that very strong upper-level high-pressure system. Watch what happens here as we get to the upcoming weekend. This is the Friday morning forecast map. And that cool air mass moves off. Then we'll keep our eyes on the Gulf of Mexico. This is the Saturday morning forecast map. But look at this. This is another advancing cold frontal system from Canada southeastward into the northern plains. And meanwhile, we'll have a tropical system right in this region right here. And again, whether or not it can kick out and move all the way to the northeast before that front arrives, a little too early to call. Notice, well above normal, California, Nevada, all the way throughout much of the western U.S. This is all the way now into the latter part of the upcoming weekend. And look at this. This is just a beautiful air mass for this time of the year, rolling across the Midwest, the Great Lakes. A week from now, we're talking next Tuesday or so, for this next batch of cooler than normal air remains hotter than normal out across the western states. And this, again, reaches the eastern seaboard in about a week. We're talking Tuesday night, and I'm kind of emphasizing that because this is going to dictate how far north and east any leftover rains from the Gulf of Mexico tropical system can come. Can they make it all the way up into the northeastern part of the nation? A little too early to say. Well, let's focus in on the surface forecast maps from the GFS, and here we have some showers pushing away from the east coast right now. Cannot rule out a shower or thunderstorm today in the I-95 corridor region. Only a slight chance, but cannot completely rule it out. The breeze will kick up out of the northwest. Comfortable air mass, very comfortable dew points throughout the region. And here's a little bit of a signal that there could be an afternoon, midday afternoon, isolated shower. But notice this isobar pattern here. Canadian high pressure over the Hudson Bay region of Canada by late tonight. Northerly flow of air pushing comfortable, pleasant air into the mid-Atlantic region. Again, watch out for overnight lows in the 50s, especially suburban areas in the I-95 corridor region. Not only tonight, but tomorrow night and Thursday night as well. Hot out across the west and dry. Let's move forward here and kind of look at the Gulf of Mexico. Here we go. GFS has a low pressure area, a tropical low by the time we get to Thursday or so. Still very comfortable dry conditions in the northeast U.S. And this is likely headed towards Louisiana. Also, I would say likely going to reach tropical storm status. Again, it would be named Bill. We had an initial system. I don't even remember what the A storm was. It was kind of an inconsequential, really, frankly, a questionable call to make that a tropical system a month or two ago. But this is going to be a bona fide tropical system here over the Gulf of Mexico. This is the Thursday forecast map. And again, it looks like it's going to head towards Louisiana, eastern Texas, here by the upcoming weekend, the latter part of the upcoming weekend. And then we'll have a lot of rain if that indeed happens over the north central Gulf of Mexico. And it looks like to turn to the north and east at that point. We're talking late in the weekend, early part of next week. Here we are by Sunday morning. Here's another cold front system starting to show up on the maps here over the northern plains by Sunday. And the interaction between this, and we're speculation phase right now, several days from now, the interaction between this potential tropical storm and this next cold frontal system will dictate how far north and east any leftover rains can come. Can it make it just ahead and get kind of wrapped into this frontal system? This is next Monday. Strong cold front situated right in this region right now. Again, this is 6 days away, and here are the rains from what could become Bill sliding up across the southeastern coastline. And again, if they get intertwined, we could see some enhanced rainfall in the mid-Atlantic region, maybe even the northeast U.S. in about a week's time. This front will be followed by yet another beautiful air mass for the Great Lakes and the northeastern part of the nation a week from now. So still comfortable air coming into the northeastern part of the nation. Meanwhile, out west, very, very hot for the next several days. That's it for now. A lot going on. Watch out for that NASA Wallops rocket launch at 9:35 this morning. If you're in the mid-Atlantic region, look to the south or southeast at 9:35. That's the current time. Again, that was postponed from earlier in the morning because of departing showers and storms. That's it for now for Peraton Weather. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.